obviously we were very disappointed that Mother Nature beat us to the completion of our plans to try to secure the shack. We had already authorized our town engineer to work with an engineering company to determine how best to move the shack back about 60 feet. We had secured permits from DEEP to move the shack. We had gone through their natural diversity database to ensure that we weren't disrupting any endangered species by moving it to the location that we were planning on moving it. As I said, we had contracted with an engineering firm, and actually this week you would have seen a barge in the channel allowing for test borings for pilings in the location where we were anticipated moving it. So the work would have already started to determine where best and how deep we should be putting the pilings, where we'd eventually move the shack onto for a better protected area and portion of the of Grass Island. So we, again, disappointed that Mother Nature decided to get in the way first, but I can tell you that the winds on last Thursday night, Friday morning, were as ferocious as I've seen in a long time, short of a hurricane. And also, we understand there was a significant high tide event over the end of last week for a couple of days. So probably the combination of wind and waves took its toll.
And going forward, is there a plan on raising the shack and moving it?
Yes, there was a plan to move it. So we are looking at our options on how we can still do that. At this point, we're intending to do so. Janice Plasiak, who is our town engineer, has been actively collaborating with the structural engineer and several contractors to evaluate the best move and on how to move the building to higher ground to secure it. The current thinking is that it is safe for now, but we want to ensure that we don't have it floating out into Long Island Sound. So the effort underway now is to how to best move the building to higher ground until the new foundation can be built. And the building appears to be secure, as I said, and any movement of the building would likely happen next week. There are discussions on how best to affect that. Do we take the porch off and save the established, the main structure to make it easier to move it and facilitate movement? And then when we move the house itself onto, or the shack itself, it's not really a house, onto the pilings, rebuild the decking that has been in place for some time. So those are some of the options we're looking at right now. It's been a classic Guilford response. We have a couple of contractors who are volunteering their expertise and their time, and have made some commitments to making sure that we can rebuild it. So again, we anticipate a final decision on what our options are on moving it by the end of this week, probably early next week. But clearly, we feel as if we need to move the shack back to the more secure ground.